What if the thread of every vampire's existence, every whispered legend of monsters and shadows, hung from the will of a single queen? What if her reign began not with blood, but with a vision to reshape humanity itself, only to descend into an ocean of betrayal, vengeance, and hunger so deep it could not be filled in 1,000 lifetimes? Her name is Akasha. To speak it is to awaken echoes that have slumbered for millennia. To know her story is to understand the birth of the damned, and tonight we open the coffin of her legend. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to watch the next exciting episodes. Centuries before the first pyramid rose in Egypt, before embalming became the sacred art of preserving the dead, there was Uruk, the heartbeat of Sumer. This was not a land of timeless sand, but a world alive with rivers, trade routes, and temple towers climbing toward the heavens. Akasha came from this world, born into a lineage that valued both political cunning and divine favor. She was given in marriage to King Enkil, not for love. Such luxuries were rare among rulers, but to secure alliances and preserve the dynasty. From the moment she set foot in Enkil's palace, she was more than a queen in title. She was a strategist, a voice that could silence a court, a presence that seemed born to command. But her vision for the kingdom was unlike anything the old priests had seen. Her reforms, cannibalism, at that time, was not an aberration, it was custom. The dead were consumed as part of ritual, a practice believed to pass on the strength of the deceased. Akasha and Enkil shattered this tradition. They outlawed the eating of human flesh, replacing it with farming, urging people to cultivate grain instead of feasting on the bodies of kin. They also declared that the dead were to be buried with dignity, wrapped in linen, laid to rest in tombs. This was a turning point that would eventually blossom into the mummification practices of later Egypt. But change always has enemies. Reformers in history, from Akhenaten in Egypt to more modern revolutionaries, often face the same fate. Beloved in the beginning, hated when their reforms cut too deep. Akasha was not a woman to be content with mortal power. The more she shaped her kingdom, the more she began to hunger for knowledge that lay beyond the reach of kings and priests. Rumors came to her of twin sisters Maharet and Mekari, witches who spoke with spirits, whose eyes could see past the veil of death. They lived far from the royal court, in a place untouched by the hand of the king. She summoned them. The message was clear: appear before the queen and share your wisdom. The twins refused. In an age where refusal to a monarch was tantamount to treason, this was not defiance, it was war. Soldiers stormed the twins' village during their mother's funeral. The timing was cruel, intentional, an act designed to break them emotionally before they even reached the palace. The sisters were dragged to Uruk, accused of blasphemy and cannibalism, charges meant to stain their names forever. In the great hall, Akasha sat like a carved idol, the gold of her crown catching the flicker of torchlight. She demanded the twins reveal their secrets. How did they speak to spirits? What rituals did they perform? The answer came not in fear, but in truth sharp enough to cut stone. You have no gods. There are only spirits, and they play with you as they play with all mortals. It was the kind of truth that rulers fear most, not the one that undermines their armies, but the one that undermines their divinity. And for Akasha, who believed herself chosen by gods, it was unbearable. Events moved quickly. Loyalists to the old ways, those who saw Akasha's reforms as a desecration, struck in the night. They stabbed her and Enkil again and again, leaving them to die. As Akasha's life ebbed, a presence entered her, a spirit named Amel. It merged with her flesh, stitching her wounds, igniting a hunger that no mortal feast could sat. She awoke, her humanity gone, replaced by a predator's clarity. Her first act was to save Enkil by forcing her blood into his mouth. Heat arose as a creature of the night. They were faster than arrows, stronger than iron, able to hear the heartbeat of prey from rooms away, but sunlight seared them at the judgment of a god. The pair's first nights as vampires were drenched in vengeance. Those who had plotted against them were hunted without mercy. But power is a tide, it does not stay in one place. Akasha began creating more vampires, building her brood. The twins, however, warned her that the more vampires were made, the weaker the original power would become. The essence of Amul could not be divided endlessly. Akasha answered their warning with brutality, blinding Maharet, cutting out Macare's tongue, and sealing them in stone coffins, one cast east, the other west. But war followed. Vampires split into factions, some wanting to rule humanity, others to destroy it. The chaos was unstoppable. Eventually, Akasha and Inkil themselves were overthrown, imprisoned in diorite that no blade could pierce. They became living statues, and their survival meant the survival of all vampires. Centuries rolled on. Guardians came and went. Some revered Akasha, some feared her. A few even tried to destroy her. One guardian exposed her to sunlight, killing the youngest vampires instantly and weakening the oldest. This confirmed what many suspected: Akasha's fate was the fate of all. It was not ritual or devotion that woke her from her stone prison, but music. In the modern world, a vampire named Lestat fronted a rock band and sang of their kind to mortal audiences. His defiance reached her across centuries. She awoke, drained Inkil completely, and chose Lestat as her consort. Akasha's vision was now apocalyptic. She sought to slaughter most men, create a female-only Eden, and rule as goddess. She and Lestat traveled from city to city, leaving bodies in their wake. It was not leadership, it was purge. The surviving vampires gathered against her. Maharet confronted her, condemning the plan. But before Akasha could strike, Mekari appeared, silent for centuries, now burning with vengeance. In a single strike, she decapitated Akasha and consumed her brain and heart, taking Amul into herself. Akasha's end was not noble. She was not a martyr. She was undone by her own hunger for control, a truth that has ended kings, empires, and dynasties since the dawn of history. Her story is a mirror for rulers, for dreamers, for anyone who has believed they could master both fate and the hearts of others. The lesson is simple, and it is eternal. Those who seek to be gods will find themselves abandoned, not worshipped.